And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Henley Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and broadcast live video on mybasin.com. Only 8 teams remain in the OSAA baseball tournament, and 2 of them right here in front of us as the Henley Hornets are hosting the North Bend Bulldogs. Glad to be with you. My name is Josh Eldridge from Rosser Field on the campus of Henley High School. This quarterfinal matchup just a few minutes away as Henley enters play 27-1, the most wins of any team across the entire state of Oregon. North Bend enters a 16-8 record. When we come back, we're going to talk about the road that each of these 2 teams took to get here, as well as meet our lineup card and get ready for first pitch. It's all coming up at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever. Wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face. I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
And we welcome you back to mybasin.com. Also 104.3 and 960 Sports, the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A quarterfinals, brought to you in part by the Henley Booster Club. Want to give a big thanks to the Henley Boosters for helping us get on air this afternoon, as well as earlier in the playoffs, stepping up, and that's the reason we're able to bring this to you completely free on mybasin.com as the Henley Hornets taking on the North Bend Bulldogs in just a couple of minutes in these quarterfinals. Let's take a look at the season for the Bulldogs. A 16-8 overall record. They finished 8-4 in the Sky M League, and they've won their last 8 games, including a couple of familiar foes for Henley, as they beat Hidden Valley 4-3 to kick off this win streak back on May 1st. In the play-in game, they defeated Staten 6-0, and in the opening round of the playoffs on Tuesday, they slapped Crook County around to the tune of 14-3. North Bend finished third in their league, but now that they're here in in the 16-team bracket, they mean business. They finished behind Junction City and Marist in the Sky M League, but again, 9th overall in the state. That's their seeding coming into the postseason as well, and as I mentioned, 8 consecutive wins. Only a couple of them were relatively close, but they haven't had a close game since March 2nd when they played Marshfield 8-7. Since then, 12-2, 11-1, 16-4, 6-0, and 14-3 have been the wins for the Bulldogs. Henley on a much larger, longer win streak. As a matter of fact, they have won 22 consecutive ball games. Their last loss coming on March 28th. That was against Banks, a 5-4 loss, Henley's only loss of the season. Their 27 wins, good for most in the state of Oregon at any classification. 6A, 5A, 1A, it doesn't matter. Henley has won the most games. Ranked number 1 in the state, unbeaten in league play, 317 runs scored. That is also most in the 4A. 68 runs allowed. That is tied for fewest with North Marion, who is number 2. This Henley team, they mean business and looking to make it back to the state title game for the first time since 2019. Going to take a break as our coaches meet at home plate. Joe Tacchini for the Henley Hornets and Mr. Brad Horning for the North Bend Bulldogs as they trade lineups. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to the starters for both teams. Just a few minutes away from the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Sports was kind of defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Few minutes away from first pitch at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals between the North Bend Bulldogs and the Henley Hornets. Let's go ahead and meet the lineup cards for both teams, and we'll start with the visitors today, the Bulldogs of North Bend High School. Leading off at shortstop is Jalen Riddle. Sam Michelson is in center field, batting second. Batting third is the third baseman, Luke Wheeling, followed by Peyton Forrester, the cleanup hitter, batting second. Drakkar Funk is catching and batting fifth, followed by Josh Yo Stevens at first base, batting sixth. Hitting seventh is Aiden Nelson, the pitcher for the Bulldogs. Hunter Osuna, the designated hitter, is batting eighth. And Josh Sullivan rounds out the Bulldogs' order in left field. Now let's go ahead and meet the starters for the home team, which just took the field, the Henley Hornets. Peyton Price leads things off for Henley in center field, followed by the catcher, Connor Shively, batting second. Aiden Hayes hits third at shortstop, followed by the pitcher, Mark Carpenter. Bo Pyle is at second base, hitting fifth, followed by Max Price at third base, batting sixth. Lane Frank is hitting seventh in right field, followed by the eighth hitter in the order and playing first base, Owen Harper. Luke Austin is in left, batting ninth for Henley. We talked about on the mound for the Hornets, and he's out there right now. Mark Carpenter, the Skyline Conference Pitcher and Player of the Year. Carpenter is 7-0 entering play today. He is in his 7th start, 14th overall appearance. In 46 and 1/3 innings of work, Carpenter has an ERA of .604, a sub-1 ERA for Mark Carpenter. Also worthy of note in those 46 and a third innings, 80 strikeouts. That leads his team in that metric. Excited to see the right-hander go to work against this North Bend order. For Henley today, they're wearing their cream-colored home uniforms with Henley written in cursive and navy blue across their chest. Their blue caps with the yellow H. For the Bulldogs of North Bend, they've got their brown jerseys on. Bulldogs written in sort of a lighter tan in cursive across the chest. Their ball caps NB on the top and gray pants for North Bend today. It's a great day for baseball in the Klamath Basin. The wind was blowing a little while ago. It seemed to cool off a little bit, or the wind seems to back off, I should say. But when it does blow, it blows out towards left field. Right now, 62 degrees and sunny at Henley High School, and we're going to be cooling down. Should see the high 50s by the time this ball game concludes tonight. Long trip for North Bend. Little over 4 hours the drive from the coast to be here, and we are ready for baseball. The right-hander Mark Carpenter gets ready to toss our first pitch this afternoon from Henley High School, and it's an elevated fastball high and tight into Riddle. First pitch at 4:59 today, just a minute sooner than we anticipated, starting this afternoon at 5 o'clock in the quarterfinals. The 1-0 count from Carpenter on its way to Riddle, and the pitch is going to miss high, now 2-0. These two squads, some of the final 8 teams remaining. We'll take a look at the rest of the bracket here as the 2-0 pitch on the way. Carpenter sails that one high as well. 3-0 the count to Riddle to start the ball game. Winner of this game will play the winner of Pendleton Nick Yahweh against Marist. That's the 4-5 matchup, and that game actually starts in about a half hour. And the 3-0 pitch on the way to Riddle will find the inside part of the plate. Riddle thought it was ball 4, tossed the bat back to the dugout, took a couple of steps to first, but now has to head back. It's a 3-1 count. Carpenter ready to deliver. Here's the pitch. That one offered up at and missed. Carpenter sticking with the fastball. He runs this count full, 3-2. Mark with the 4-seam, the 2-seam has a circle change, and his curveball is lethal. Here's the full count pitch to Riddle. There's the fastball low. Carpenter missing, and a walk delivered to Riddle to start the ball game. This brings up Sam Michelson for the Bulldogs. Runner aboard at first, nobody out, just getting things started in the top of the first inning. Look at the other side of the 4A bracket. Scappoose, the number 3 seed, taking on Junction City and the Triangle Lake Co-op. That game just getting started as well at about 5 o'clock. Michelson is going to take strike one, showed bunt and pulled back, but it found the zone anyway. An 0-1 count to the Bulldogs center fielder. So the winner of that quarterfinal between JC and Scappoose will meet the winner of North Marion and the Dalles. That's the 2-7 matchup. And that game also began at 5 o'clock today. And just if you're curious, you know, Henley is the number 1 team, North Marion the number 2 team. If you're curious on following along North Marion Huskies today, they have broadcasts listed on OSAA.org, just in case you want to keep tabs. The 0-1 is a bunt shoved down the first base side. Owen Harper up with it. He's going to take it to the bag himself, but Riddle advances to second on the play. So exactly what Michelson was trying to do, moving the runner up into scoring position. Now one away, you bring up the middle of the order, and it starts with Luke Wheeling. Go around the diamond for Henley. Connor Shively is catching. Max Price at third. Aiden Hayes is at shortstop. Bo Pyle plays second, and Owen Harper is at first. We'll get you the outfield after the first pitch to Luke Wheeling. Here it is. Curveball. That was a perfect strike for Carpenter. 0-1. First time we've seen the bender today for Mark. Expect to see more of it as the game goes on. Peyton Forrester is on deck for North Bend. One away and a runner in scoring position. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Two-seamer outside part of the plate and an 0-2 count now to Wheeling. Batting from the right side, Wheeling. Carpenter comes set, takes a look at the runner at second. It's Riddle. And he delivers the 0-2. Skates the fastball high, misses. A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Wheeling. In the outfield for Henley, Luke Austin in left, Peyton Price in center, and Lane Frank in right. The 1-2 is a curveball swung on and missed in the dirt. Now taken off on the drop third is Wheeling, but thrown out by Shively for the second out. Connor Shively doing a good job of keeping that ball in front of him. A Skyline All-Conference catcher showing us some worth there in the first inning. So now 2 away for Peyton Forrester. Still an RBI opportunity for Forrester. Runner at second, 2 away now. And the pitch. Called a strike. Carpenter sticking to the outside to the right-handed hitters for North Bend, at least so far. Forrester takes that one. And now set with the 0-1. That one just missed. Must have been outside. It looked more over the plate than the last pitch did, but called a ball. 1-1. Drakkar Funk waits on deck for North Bend. Carpenter set with the 1-1. And the delivery. That one weakly dribbled down the third base line and will roll foul. Ball and 2 strikes the count now to Forrester. North Bend looking to strike first. Henley has rarely played from behind this year, but they have done a nice job of keeping composure in situations where they have, but still good to jump on this Hornets team early if you can for North Bend. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball fouled off. Forrester getting defensive in a 2-strike count. A good job of staying alive in this at-bat. A ball and 2 strikes. The count remains. Had to chase that curveball and foul it off. See where Carpenter goes on the 1-2. Here it is. Again, fouled off. Carpenter turning up the heat for that one, but Forrester stays with it, fouls it straight back to the brick backstop here at Henley High School. It's come into play a couple times this season where a passed ball specifically hits that brick wall so darn hard that it keeps runners where they are on the base paths. Here's the 1-2 again. That pitch in the dirt. Shively knocks it down, keeps it in front of him, so Riddle stays at second. Quite a bit of foul territory here at Henley as well. Probably say about 15 or 17 paces from first base to out of bounds, and same for home plate. If you look around the dimensions here at Rosser Field, 325 to right, 350 to left and right center, 385 to straightaway center field, and 320 to straightaway left. Shively calls a meeting with Carpenter, but a brief one at that. And now we're ready to go again with the 2-2. Carpenter delivers and fouled off again. Forrester putting up a good battle at the plate. Count remains 2-2. Shively sets up outside for the 2-2. And Carpenter delivers. Another curveball and another foul ball by Forrester. You think about this at-bat, no matter the outcome, a fantastic battle put up by Forrester. Seeing a lot of Carpenter's pitches. I'm sure he's seen just about every one. 4-seam, 2-seam, change up the curve. And he's getting a piece of that curve even when it dips out of the zone. Forrester remaining patient. Ready again for the 2-2. Here's a pitch. There's a curveball lifted, shallow right. That's going to stay in fair territory. Coming in is Lane Frank, makes the catch on the run for the third out. No base hits for the Bulldogs, but they do leave one in scoring position as we go to the bottom of the first, scoreless. The OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Getting ready for the bottom of the first inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinal. Still scoreless as we get up the Henley's top of the order. Peyton Price, Connor Shively, and Aiden Hayes going to work against the right-hander for North Bend, Aiden Nelson. This Henley order, can't say enough really about it. As a team, batting .370, and 8 of their 9 starters in the order recognized by the Skyline Conference in some capacity, whether first team, second team, or honorable mention. And Peyton Price, who's getting ready to step up, a first team Skyline Conference member. Price has had a stellar season for Henley, batting .347. He sets the table for this offense. Here's the first pitch. It's a curveball that finds the inner third. It's a nice pitch there by Nelson, as Price thought it might be in on his hands, but then it broke back across the plate. 1-0 to Price. And the pitch. That's another bender, but skipped to the plate. And a 1-1 count now to Price. Around the diamond for North Bend, it's Drakkar Funk catching, Wheeling at third, Riddle at short, Forrester at second, and Stevens at first. We'll get you the outfield after the 1-1 pitch to Price. Another curveball. That one didn't have enough break on it. Sailed high, 2-1. Sullivan in left, Michelson in center, and Hunt in right for North Bend. The 2-1. Taken high, and the count runs now 3-1. To Peyton Price. Again, Shively on deck for the Hornets. And Price will take a walk and get on down to first base. That is the 18th walk of the year for Peyton Price. That puts him tied for third on the team. And so now there's a runner on for Connor Shively. Shively has had a remarkable sophomore year, batting .505, leading his team in that metric. He also leads the team in hits, 46 this season. Pick move over to first, Price back safely. Had a bit of trouble corralling that one, did Stevens, but no harm, no foul. Price will remain at first. Shively also with 32 RBIs. That's third most on the team. He leads the squad in runs scored at 40 this year. He just gets on base. This time, Shively rips one into left field, and that gets down for a single. Add one more for Connor, and that puts runners on first and second. Still nobody out for Aiden Hayes. Hayes has been a very key contributor in the middle of the order for Henley this season. Not only is he batting .452, second on the team in hits, he has come up in big spots all season long by knocking in 38 RBI, second on the team. Here's the pitch to Aiden. Shows bunt this time, lays one down the third base line. That is perfectly placed. Nelson has no play off the mound. And this loads the bases for the cleanup hitter, Mark Carpenter. A walk and back-to-back singles. Hayes beating one out in the infield to load him up for Carpenter. Carpenter, the exact kind of guy you want batting cleanup for your team. Leads the squad in RBIs at 44. Also has 8 home runs on the year. Carpenter in the win on Tuesday against Baker was 2 for 3. And he scored a run. No RBIs for him in that game, but a perfect opportunity here with nobody out. Carpenter takes a pitch away, 1-0. Carpenter on the mound for Henley today, but pitcher and player of the year in the Skyline Conference. Crazy to think that Carpenter, only a junior, he's been a starter on varsity every year. This one he pops up, could be playable behind third, and wheeling underneath it, he will make the grab for the first out. A big first out for North Bend to record there. Now you got to force at any base with one out. Double play is in order, and Bo Pyle to bat. Pyle, a remarkable day against Baker on Tuesday. 3 for 3, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Pyle hit a 3-run home run in that game to help lift his team to victory over Baker. Here's the pitch to Pyle. Checks his swing. Did he go? Check down to first base. Yes, he did. Pyle behind the count 0-1. Chased the curveball on that one. On deck after Pyle, the freshman Max Price. Nelson comes set on the mound for North Bend. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's taken in the dirt. A good job by Funk to keep it in front of him. Not letting anything skip away. A ball and a strike now to Pyle. Look at Bo on the season, batting .311. Doesn't usually have a ton of RBI opportunities, so only 20 on the year. He's typically batting after Carpenter cleans him up. Here's the 1-1. Pyle comes up empty on the 1-1 pitch and moves the count now to a ball and 2 strikes. Nelson trying to get himself out of a bases-loaded jam. A strikeout would go a long way. Pyle pops it up sky high behind third. Coming in, the third baseman again is wheeling and makes a very similar play that he did a few minutes ago against Carpenter. Now 2 away and Max Price to bat. Nelson is keeping it off speed quite a bit, not giving Henley really anything to square up in this first inning. Even their 2 base hits was, well, a line drive into left by Shively, squared that one up decently, but then Hayes, a bunt single. Price walked. That's how the bases are loaded. Back-to-back weak flyouts for the Hornets allows Price to bat with 2 away, and he'll take strike 1. Max Price on his freshman season batting .289 for the Hornets. 21 runs batted in. And now that one in the dirt, going to skip away from Funk. Breaking to the plate and scoring is Peyton Price, and Henley on the board first, 1-0. Also moving up was Shively to third, Hayes to second. Big run to score there for the Hornets. Thought this one might get away from them, but a wild pitch allowing one to come across. It's a 1-0 count to Max Price. Pardon me, a 1-1 count to Price. And the delivery is going to miss high, 2-1. Interesting thing about the season for Price, even as a freshman, he has been remarkably patient at the plate, a really good understanding of the strike zone, and it's why he's been successful at this level. Tied for second on the team in walks this year as he takes ball 3 and 1 strike in the count to Price. Lane Frank waits on deck for the Hornets. Nelson set, and the pitch. That's going to miss high, and another walk for Price. Now that moves him in a tie for second most walks on the team. Or pardon me, most walks on the team, rather. tied up at 22 with Luke Austin, who we'll see later on. He bats ninth for Henley. Lane Frank hits now the seventh hitter in the order with the bases loaded and 2 away. Frank, a good consistent presence at the bottom of the order for Henley as he awaits the first pitch. Hits a chopper to third. It's brought up by Wheeling, race to the bag, and safe at third. Wheeling lost the race to the bag between himself and Hayes. A run is going to score. Shively is in, and Henley leads 2-0. Wheeling came up with the ball, tried to take it to the bag himself, but just lost the race. And we've got timeout. We're going to see if the umpire is going to ask for help. It looked like a close play. Our umpires coming together in front of the mound. It was a forced play at the bag, but it was close with Hayes diving in. And we'll see what the play they come away with. As it stands, Frank would be at first. Price moves up to second, and Hayes diving into third. Let's see what they come away with here. As the umpires discuss, again want to extend a big thank you to the Henley Booster Club, who covered the rights fee, allowing us to bring this broadcast to you totally free on mybasin.com. And they are going to call it out. So Shively does not score, and Coach Dakini comes out of the dugout now. He wants to have a conversation with the umpire crew, now saying, well, let's hold on to things here. We're not ready to end this inning. Coach Dakini making a grand return after missing last week's opening round game, going to his child's college graduation. Sean Teeters was the head man on Tuesday earlier this week. Now Dakini wasting no time making his presence known to everybody in attendance today. Dakini pointing more towards home plate rather than the play that was at third. And if that was the force at third, it would have been the third out in the inning, negating the Henley run. I'm unsure exactly what Dakini is arguing for if the out was confirmed at third. Again, his problem seems to be with whether or not the run scored. Okay, and again, still Dakini having this conversation. It's trailing back to the Henley dugout. Now finally, the Hornets head back to the dugout. Dakini still walking down with the base umpire down to first base, finally relinquishing. Henley is going to lead, I believe, 1-0. The scoreboard still reads 2-0. We'll get it corrected either way coming up on the other side. Henley in front regardless in the quarterfinals of the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union baseball playoffs on mybasin.com.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires.
Top of the second, and the score is 1-0 Hornets. Their run was wiped off the board after the overturned call at third. Ready for 5, 6, 7 in the North Band order. Drakkar Funk 0-1 in the count after being a bit late on the fastball. Henley scored their one run on a pass ball, or a wild pitch would be more accurate, as Funk dribbles one out in front of second base. Up with it is Pyle. Throw to first is going to be in time for the first out. This will bring up Joshua Stevens. Stevens, the starting first baseman for North Bend. It's been some time since the Bulldogs and the Hornets last played. In fact, 2018, and May 25th, the last time these two squads met up. Even though Henley makes quite a few trips to the coast every year for their non-conference games, North Bend hasn't been on the schedule since then. And when they did, it was a North Bend victory 5-3 back in 2018. And the 0-1 pitch from Carpenter is going to miss low. Must have been low. Good spot to miss for Carpenter as the count is even now at 1 to Stevens. On deck is Aiden Nelson. Here's the pitch. That one's going to come in and I believe caught Stevens on the elbow guard. And he is awarded first with 1 out, and that brings up Nelson. Nelson, the starting pitcher for North Bend, looking to help himself out here, get that run back that they surrendered in the bottom half of last inning. Carpenter said with the first pitch and the delivery is going to be offered up at and missed. An 0-1 count now to Nelson. On deck, the designated hitter, Hunter Osuna. Double play in order, so the middle infield Hayes and Pyle cheating a bit towards second. And the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 0-2. Now to Nelson. Carpenter's gone high with the fastball on back-to-back pitches. See where he goes now with the 0-2. Right-hander set and delivers. Goes off speed with the changeup. Nelson comes up empty. Strike 3. 2 outs in the second inning. And that brings up Osuna. Second strikeout of the day for Carpenter. Osuna, the designated hitter, steps into the right-handed batter's box again. 2 away, and a runner aboard at first is Stevens. And the pitch from Carpenter. Curveball called a strike. 0-1. On deck after Osuna for the Bulldogs is Josh Sullivan. Should Osuna get on, he'll get a chance. The 0-1 high fastball around the letters. Osuna chased that one out of the zone. 0-2. Carpenter went off speed on the first pitch. High fastball on the next pitch. It can go just about anywhere here on the 0-2. And goes fastball outside, fouled off by Osuna, and the count remains 0-2. Talk about the reasons why Henley and North Bend haven't played each other often, even though Henley takes trip to the coast. It's because this is only the second year that North Bend has competed at the 4A level. And taken strike 3, Osuna down looking back-to-back Ks to end the inning for Carpenter. And no base hits. 1 runner left for the Bulldogs. They still trail Henley 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. The OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends. How to fit in. How to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Eight, 9, and 1 due up in the Henley order in the bottom of the second as they lead 1-0 in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinals. The right-hander Owen Harper steps into the box. Here's the first pitch. Curveball, swung and missed by Harper. That might have been the changeup, rather, from Nelson. Regardless, Harper's behind in the count, 0-1. Hasn't been the best stretch of games for Owen. He's hitless in his last 3 contests as he pops one up on the 0-1 out of play, 0-2. These last few games, Harper has seen his batting average dip about 20 points, batting 185 coming into the game today, although his teammates rally around him. He's got a positive attitude, and it's why his team recognized him at the banquet earlier in the season. Harper looking at a curveball there. That was a great pitch by Nelson to freeze up the Henley first baseman for the first out. First strikeout of the day for Nelson. And this brings up Luke Austin, another all-conference selection that these Hornets bolster. Austin second on the team in average .474 this year. Here's the first pitch to him. Another curveball. That one doesn't quite break enough, and a 1-0 count to Austin. Luke second on the team in extra base hits this year as he takes the 1-0 foul down the left field line. For Austin, 25 extra base hits on the year. When he connects with them, it usually sends it for a ride. And here gets a ground ball into left. Just past Riddle, it's short, and he's on base with 1 out in the second. Back to the top of the Henley order, it's Peyton Price. Price without an official at-bat in this ball game, although in the first inning he walked and scored. Decent lead off of first for Austin. And they're going to check him over there. Back safely, though, is Austin. Looking at Austin on the base paths, not typically a threat. Only 4 stolen bases this year, and he's been caught once, but a pretty big lead. And a nice secondary as the pitch skips off the glove of Funk, and advancing to second is Austin. Don't need to worry about stolen bases when you get a free walk to second base there on the wild pitch again. Now in scoring position is Austin for Peyton Price. Price has 19 RBI this season. Awaits the 1-0. Takes that one on the inner third of the zone for a strike. That evens up the count to the Henley center fielder. On deck is Connor Shively. Shortstop Riddle holding the runner at second. And the 1-1 pitch misses low. The breaking ball from Nelson. Look at the lead for Austin at second. It's not that remarkable, but still Riddle spending his time over there holding the runner. And the 2-1 is a fastball that misses high. Count now moves to 3-1. Again, Price walked his first at-bat. Sure he wouldn't mind another free pass here. The 3-1. Price hits one sky high left field. Sullivan underneath it, fighting the sun, backpedals and makes the catch for the second out. This brings up Connor Shively. Shively 1 for 1 in the ball game so far. He singled, got as far as third base, but was left stranded. Has an RBI opportunity here with 2 outs. His team up 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning of this quarterfinal matchup. Nelson, the right-hander set, delivers to the left-handed hitting Shively, a breaking ball that misses wide, 1-0 to Connor. Shively, in his sophomore season, leads his team in average, leads his team in hits. Third in RBI. The 1-0 sent on a line into center field. They're waving Austin around to score. There will be no throw to cut down Austin, so an RBI single for Shively pushes Henley's lead to 2. RBI 33 for Connor Shively, and this brings up Aiden Hayes with 2 away. Hayes also singled in the first inning, and he was cut down at third to end that inning as the first pitch to him misses high, 1-0. They're confused with Hayes, whether he was out at third or whether a run was scoring on the play, and, well, it was all just kind of a big mess to end the first, but after it all, Henley still led 1-0. Hayes was out, and he gets a second opportunity here. The 1-0 to Hayes is going to come in and hit him, and he gets first for Mark Carpenter to bat with 2 on and 2 out. In the second inning, Henley leads 2-0. Carpenter bat in the first with the bases loaded, but kind of got underneath the pitch and just popped it up in foul territory behind third base. Looking to get a hold of one here. He was 2 for 3 on Tuesday, and he scored a run in that ball game as well. Henley beat Baker in the opening round 11-1. Move over to second. The throw to try to get Shively winds up in center field. Both runners are going to advance. Now 2 in scoring position for the Conference Player of the Year. After Carpenter in the order, should he get on base, it's Bo Pyle who waits on deck. Nelson said with the first pitch to Carpenter, it's a fly ball center field. Coming in is Michelson on the run, makes the catch to end the inning. 1 run does score for Henley on 2 base hits. They leave 2 stranded. They lead 2-0 as we head to the top of the third at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Top of the third inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. It's Henley who leads North Bend 2-0. Due up this half for the Bulldogs. Josh Sullivan, Jalen Riddle, and Sam Michelson. That's 9, 1, and 2 in the North Bend order as they try to get back into this ball game. Mark Carpenter still on the mound for Henley. Talked about Carpenter's sub-1 ERA on the season, .604. In fact, the last earned run that Carpenter gave up was on April 27th in a win against Klamath Union. It has been almost a full month for Mark without an earned run. Hoping to continue it here this inning as Sullivan ready to lead things off for the North Bend Bulldogs. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike. 0-1 to Sullivan. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in across the state of Oregon for this quarterfinal matchup as the 0-1's in the zone, 0-2. I know quite a few folks on the coast are listening and watching today's broadcast on MyBasin.com. Appreciate you for being with us. A ball and 2 strikes to count now. Athletic Director for North Bend, Mike Forrester. Appreciate him for spreading around our broadcast link, making sure everybody knows where we are and how you can watch your team. As the 1-2 is swung on and missed, Sullivan down on strikes for the first out in the third inning. Never been to North Bend High School myself, although I have seen photos and videos from when North Bend and Marshfield, teams on the coast, hosted the 3A basketball state championships. And the pitch to Riddle misses away, 1-0. I always hear that 3A championship is the one to be at. It's the most, I guess, most community support for these events that happen on the coast. I've only been to the 4A championship. That's up in Forest Grove typically. Those gyms are nice, but man, does not compare from the photos I've seen in North Bend and Marshfield high schools. It's a 1-2 count to Riddle. He fouled a couple off. Sam Michelson waits on deck. And the pitch. Curveball offered up at and missed. Riddle down on strikes. 4 strikeouts in a row for Carpenter dating back to the last inning. And this will bring up Michelson. Michelson 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to first in the first inning. Getting his second look at Carpenter here. The first pitch. Swung on and missed. High fastball. 0-1. Fastball from Carpenter. Teams have had trouble laying off the high one all year long. Here's the 0-1. And that time Michelson does lay off of it. 1-1. When Carpenter can get it right at the letters, it just looks so good coming out of his hand for these hitters. And it just gets on you so darn quick. Now a 1-2 count to Michelson after Carpenter went off speed. Here's the pitch. That's a fastball, misses low. 2-2. Pitch from Carpenter. Swung on and missed. It's in the dirt. No, they're going to not worry about drop third. Carpenter is just going to strike out the side here in the third. And we go to the bottom half with Henley up 2-0 at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Introducing Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Five, 6, 7 in the Henley order to lead things off in the bottom of the third. The Hornets find themselves up 2-0 at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. First pitch to Bo Pyle is a curveball that finds the zone. Pyle thought it was going to hit him, turned his back to the pitch, but it was the curveball that came across and found the zone at the very end. An 0-1 count now to Pyle, who's 0 for 1 today with a fly out to third. This time, Pyle out in front of the breaking pitch. 0-2 now, the count to Bo. After Bo, it's Max Price in the Henley order. And the pitch to Nelson, or from Nelson, is another curveball, that time skipping to the plate. And 1-2 the count. Nelson has done a good job again. We talked about it in the first inning and in the second. He's not throwing anything for Henley to square up, really. He's throwing the off-speed stuff for strikes. He's keeping the fastball out of the middle of the zone. And the 1-2, it's a fastball high, popped up, deep left field. Moving over is Sullivan, up near the wall, and will make the catch for the first out. Pyle just a touch underneath that high fastball Gave it quite the ride, but wound up in the glove of the left fielder for the first out. This brings up Max Price, who's without an at-bat today, but did walk in the first, was left stranded at first in that inning. Here's the pitch. Price will take a pitch low. 1-0. Another off-speed one from Nelson. On deck for the Hornets is Lane Frank. Bit of shade befalls us here at Rosser Field. The clouds covering the sun. Like I said, it's mostly sunny today, partly cloudy skies. Temperature is dropping. We started at 63 degrees today, now at about 60 and continuing to fall. It's a 2-0 count to Price, and he offers up and misses at a pitch in the zone, 2-1. Nelson, the 2-1, misses in, maybe a bit high as well for Price, and the count 3-1. Max looking to reclaim his spot as the team leader in walks, and he does after he takes the 3-1 pitch inside and gets awarded first base. 23 walks on the year for Max Price, most on the team, and that brings up Lane Frank. Frank hit a ground ball to third in the first inning, and with a force out at third, it's what ended the frame. So 0 for 1 on a fielder's choice today is Lane. A move over to Max, but he's back safely at first. Decent lead for Price as Nelson shakes off the first pitch, now comes set. Another move over to first, but Price back safely. Max, 12 stolen bases this season. That is third most on the team. He's only been caught once. Line drive into center field is going to get down in front of Michelson. It's going to move Price to second. Frank aboard at first with a one-out single. And that brings up Owen Harper. Big opportunity for the Henley senior to try to end his woes at the plate. An RBI opportunity and just one out. It's a fifth base knock of the day for Henley. Harper struck out in his first at-bat, 0 for 1, and he's been hitless in his last 3 games and 8 RBI this season. First pitch to Harper is going to miss high, 0-1. Or pardon me, 1-0 rather. After Harper in the Henley order, it's Luke Austin. Small lead off a second by Price. Even smaller lead for Frank off of first. 1-0 pitch is popped foul out of play behind home plate over towards the Henley softball complex. By the way, in case you're wondering, the Henley softball team also participated in the quarterfinals today. They beat Crook County 7-3. So off to the semifinals for the Henley Lady Hornets. They're trying to make it back to the state championship in back-to-back years. Here's the 1-1. Harper hits that one sky high. That shallow left could be playable for the shortstop Riddle. In fact, infield fly is going to be called. And Harper is out. Represents the second out in the inning for Luke Austin. Austin singled and scored in the second inning. Bats with Price at second and Frank at first, 2 away. Pitch to Austin in the dirt, and a 1-0 count to the Henley left fielder. Austin, an all-Skyline Conference selection, most of the year has kind of functioned as a second leadoff hitter for Henley, and we certainly saw that in the last game against Baker, where he led off an inning and came around to score, I believe, on 2 separate occasions in that game against the Baker Bulldogs. It's a 2-0 count to Austin now, and Nelson delivers the pitch. That one's also low. The count runs to 3-0. Peyton Price waits on deck for Henley, hoping to get his third chance in as many innings. Nelson set with the 3-0 and the pitch. That's going to be called a strike. Austin thought it was ball 4. on the inner third, took a couple steps down the line, but now he's forced back. The count 3-1. Still a good hitter's count for Austin. He sees the zone well. Austin has only struck out 8 times all year. Here's the 3-1. Hard grounder to third. Wheeling is up with it. Throw across the diamond in time to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit in the inning for Henley. They leave 2 stranded. They do lead 2-0 as we go to the 4th at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinal. 104.3 960 Sports, mybasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Top of the 4th inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinal. Right now, Henley leads 2-0 over North Bend. Take a look at the line score for the Hornets. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Henley has left 6 runners on base. North Bend, no runs, no hits, no errors. They have left 2 runners on base. Luke Wheeling, Peyton Forrester, Drakkar Funk to lead things off. That's 3, 4, 5 in the order for North Bend. And it is a 1-0 count to Wheeling. Make it a 1-1 count as he takes a fastball middle away, evens the count. Wheeling is 0 for 1 today. He struck out in the first. The 1-1, curveball misses in, 2-1. Wheeling, 1 of 6 strikeout casualties so far in the game for North Bend. Ahead in the count now, 2-1. Here's the pitch from Carpenter. That one misses low, 3-1. Carpenter has balanced those 6 strikeouts with 2 walks. 1 in each inning. Or pardon me, 1 in each of the first 2 innings. And here's the 3-1. A check swing. He went around. Wheeling got a bit antsy on the high fastball, and the count is full now, 3-2. Here's the pitch from Carpenter. Off-speed pitch, flared foul. Wheeling having to get defensive again, chasing that curveball out of the zone, but fouling it off. Staying alive at a full count on the way from Carpenter as he's ready to go. Back in the box now is Wheeling. And Carpenter delivers the full count. That's low. Carpenter misses the fastball, and a leadoff walk delivered to Luke Wheeling. And a base runner for North Bend. That puts the tying run to the plate for Peyton Forrester. Now, Forrester 0 for 1 today. He flew out in the first, but he put up one heck of an at-bat in the first inning. He saw a lot of pitches from Carpenter. See what he can do with that knowledge here in his second at-bat of the game. About a 3-step lead off of first for Wheeling. Carpenter with the pitch, called a strike, 0-1. The Bulldogs here in their first quarterfinal appearance since 2018 when they lost to Gladstone 12-5 in that round. It's been a slow build back to a playoff contender for North Bend as the 0-1 pitch misses high, 1-1. They've had consistent leadership, though, at the top, no doubt about that. Coach Brad Horning, I believe this is his 24th season with the Bulldogs. It's the 1-1, actually a check move over to Wheeling. Carpenter doesn't throw it. but now ready with the 1-1 as he comes set for the pitch to Forrester. Bounced foul, 1-2. Look at Coach Horning, was the 2022-23 NFHS Oregon Baseball Coach of the Year. And that's an award given where all coaches of all classifications are up for that one. And 22-23 was the first year that North Bend had competed at the 4A level. They were previously a 5A school as Forrester wraps a curveball into center field as the Bulldogs crack the hit column here in the fourth inning. 2 runners on and nobody out. First base hit of the day goes to Peyton Forrester. And this brings up Drakkar Funk. 0 for 1 today, a ground out in the second. First time that North Bend has had a runner in scoring position since the first inning. And we'll see, looks like Coach Horning, the third base coach and head coach for North Bend, delivering signs to his ball players. Funk steps in now. We'll see if anything is on with a bunt, perhaps, with nobody out and 2 on. Corners in for Henley. Funk takes a pitch outside, 1-0. By the way, the walk to start this inning for the Bulldogs, which was delivered to Luke Wheeling, who stands at second. It broke a string of 5 consecutive strikeouts for Carpenter. He's looking to find the zone again here in the 1-0 pitch against Funk. Here's the pitch. That's popped up out of play behind first. Foul ball, 1-1. We talk about Coach Horning winning Coach of the Year, awarded from the NFHS last year, while the Henley coaching staff was the Skyline Coach of the Year. And I say the Henley staff is Coach of the Year because they really do run that team by committee. So 1-1 on its way from Carpenter, called a strike, 1-2. You've got Associate Head Coach Sean Teeters and Associate Head Coach Joe Tacchini. They both sort of split duties for the Hornets. And then you've got other guys who are former head coaches in the dugout for Henley. As Carpenter comes set with the 1-2 and delivers a ball low, 2-2. In the dugout for Henley, you've also got Coach Pete Whistler out there. Whistler is the head coach of the Klamath Falls Falcons American Legion team, and he's also a state championship winning head coach of the Mazama Vikings in the 90s. Was the Oregon Coach of the Year in 1996. Another 2-2 pitch fouled off by Funk, and he stays alive. Whistler was also the Mazama head coach last year, came back to coach a season for the Vikings, and now again finds himself as an assistant for Henley, which he's also been here before, back in 2019 when the Hornets made a run at the state championship only to lose to Banks. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Funk comes up empty on the off-speed pitch. A big first out there for Carpenter, and it's the first one in this inning. Brings up Joshio Stevens. Without an at-bat today, he walked in the second. Double play in order now for the infield for Henley. And Stevens awaits the pitch. Swung and a miss, 0-1. Another guy in the dugout for Henley, an assistant coach. I don't believe he's a former high school head coach, but boy, he's been a Henley assistant coach for some time, and that's Marvin Rosser. His name is on the field here at Rosser Field at Henley High School as Carpenter ready for the 0-1. And a foul ball from Stevens, 0-2. Coach Rosser is the guy who takes care of this Henley ball field, and he does a fantastic job rolling up to the ball field today as we set up kind of near the North Bend dugout. We've got quite a few Bulldogs fans behind me at the broadcast point. I heard 5 or 6 different people remark about how good this field looks, and that's all because of Marvin Rosser. An 0-2 pitch to Stevens. Here it is. That one's flared out to right field. Could be trouble. Ben's foul. Stevens almost had a huge base hit there, but just stays alive. 0-2. It's just a bit late on that pitch. After Stevens, it's the pitcher, Aiden Nelson. You also, in that Henley dugout, got Craig Connor, another longtime assistant for Pete Whistler, sort of a duo coming together there. Connor also an assistant for the Falcons American Legion team in the summer. And a basketball coach in the winter. Or a basketball referee, pardon me, in the winter. Stevens stays alive, 0-2. On second, it's Wheeling. On first, it's Forrester. One out in the top of the fourth inning. Henley leads 2-0. North Bend trying to keep a rally going. The 0-2 check swing in the dirt. Nobody's moving, though. Shively, a fine job of knocking that one down, and the count moves now to 1-2. Pitch from Carpenter. That one's also fouled off, and another good at-bat put together by North Bend. Carpenter looking for that put-away pitch. He hasn't found it yet. Want to remind everybody watching at home that today's broadcast is brought to you by the Henley Booster Club. Want to give a big shout-out to them, covering the rights fee, allowing us to bring this broadcast to you completely free wherever you are in the state. If you're here in town, events for the Henley Booster Club specifically, I don't know that there are any, but there are other ways that you can support Henley athletic programs. And I'll share some of those with you in just a moment as the 1-2 pitch to Stevens with 2 runners on and 1 out. Tying run on base for North Bend. Here's the pitch from Carpenter. Ground ball out towards short. Hayes taking it to second for 1. On to first, a 6-3 double play to get out of the inning. Boy, a big one there kills the rally for the Bulldogs, and Henley still leads 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. The OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between. We keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Bottom of the fourth inning, and Henley leads North Bend in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. Top of the order due up for Henley, Peyton Price, Connor Shively, Aiden Hayes. Trying to add some insurance for Henley. North Bend got the tying run on base in the top half of this inning, but grounded into a double play. And now it's up to Nelson to try to keep things where they are. Again, he's thrown well in this ball game so far. As he comes set with the first pitch. It's going to be called a ball, misses high, 1-0, a close one. And again, that ball is pretty indicative of how Nelson has thrown today. That was a fastball that just barely missed. He's hardly come in the zone with the hard stuff at all. And he's thrown his curveball and his changeup for strikes. It hasn't allowed Henley to really square anything up all day long. Now, they have 5 hits, but not a single extra base hit for Henley today, and that is a rarity. So the 2-0 finds the zone, 2-1. When you look at the season for Henley, let's see, try to do some quick math real quick. 102 extra base hits is my quick math on the season for Henley. 64 doubles, 21 triples, 12 home runs. None today, and that's because Nelson has thrown well in a 2-2 count against Peyton Price. Price dribbles one foul down the third base line, 2-2. Nelson also has a lot of motion in his delivery. Kicks his leg up high, then kicks it out, then pushes off the rubber. And a line drive into center field for Price. And a leadoff single for the Henley center fielder makes him 1 for 2 today. Connor Shively bats now. He's 2 for 2, has had a nice afternoon, an RBI in the second inning as well. But a couple of singles, hoping to keep, or maybe begin, I suppose, a rally for the Hornets. Shively's not a guy who gets a ton of extra base hits anyway, although most of them have been triples. 4 triples on the year is good for most on the team. 5 doubles as well. Shively swings and misses at the curveball, 0-1. Gets a little bit out in front. That curveball kind of stood up Shively. He was kind of camping on the back foot, and then as he swung, all of his weight transferred, stood up, and didn't really have a chance of connecting with that one. Probably better that he didn't. It's the 0-1 missed high, 1-1. After Shively in the Henley order, it's Aiden Hayes, then Mark Carpenter. Said with the 1-1 is Nelson and the pitch. Another breaking pitch, found the zone. Shively shaking his head a bit, but called a strike, 1-2. A nice pitch from Nelson. Started away and just broke right back across the plate at the very end. See where he goes on the 1-2. Shively rips one into left. If it stays fair, it's for extra bases, but it doesn't. Just bends foul. Shively, a left-handed hitter, likes to go opposite field. He's not really a right-hander. In fact, when Shively takes batting practice with the team before games and during practice, most of the guys play on the left side of the field. They call it the Shively shift. He hardly hits the ball to the right side. The 1-2 is hit into left field. That's a base hit. Back-to-back knocks for the Hornets in the fourth, and that brings up Aiden Hayes. And we've got a meeting on the mound for North Bend. See if they make a change. Frankly, I'd be surprised if they did here. Nelson has thrown the ball well, but back-to-back hits in this inning. You get later and later into the game. You don't want to let this one possibly get away from you. While they talk out there, we want to remind you today's broadcast on mybasin.com is brought to you in part by Coldwell Banker Holman Premier Realty. Little things can add up to big bills when you're buying, selling, or owning a home. That's why Coldwell Banker Holman Premier Realty's exclusive beyond-the-sale guarantees protect buyers, sellers, and homeowners from unexpected repair bills. To learn more, call Coldwell Banker Holman Premier Realty today. Also want to remind you that we are always looking for new officials in the state of Oregon. OSAA has put out a lot of recruitment tactics, and it's for all sports, baseball, softball. I know they're looking for wrestling and volleyball specifically. That's the ones they always talk about, football, basketball, whatever your sport of choice is. If you want to stay in shape and be involved in a sport you love, you can earn some money, become an athletic official. There's a shortage. We need you now more than ever. You can visit osaa.org/officials to learn more and to get registered with your local association. All right, we're back, and Nelson remains in the game. It's a fresh count to Aiden Hayes with 2 runners on and nobody out. Here's the pitch. Another bender that misses high. 1-0 the count to Aiden. He singled in the first and was hit by a pitch in the second. Was left stranded at second each time. Just looking to move some guys over. Here's the 1-0. Hayes pops it foul out of play behind home plate, 1-1. Again, kind of over towards the softball complex. There's no one over there right now. Their game finished up. The Henley Lady Hornets, the number 1 team in the state at the 4A level. They defeated Crook County 7-3 in their quarterfinal matchup, and they are moving on. We'll see if I can try to find some scores for the softball bracket as well a little bit later on in the broadcast, and we'll update you on what's happening in baseball as well. The 1-1 is going to miss high. Funk couldn't quite corral it, but nobody moving on the base paths. A 2-1 count to Hayes. Price is at second, Peyton Price. Connor Shively is at first. And Nelson ready with the 2-1. Hayes shows bunt, lays one down the third base line. Wheeling up with it, fires onto first. It is in time. A close play at the bag, but Hayes is out. Both runners advanced. Ultimately, Hayes doing his job there, moving Price to third and Shively to second. And now it's Mark Carpenter. Mark 0 for 2 today, a couple of flyouts, one to third, one to center field. Perfect opportunity here with one out in the fourth. His team already up 2. Just try to hit something to the outfield and potentially bring at least one of these guys home. Nelson said with the first pitch to Carpenter, and he fouls it off 0-1. After Carpenter in the Henley order, it's Bo Pyle. Middle of this Henley order, 4-5-6, is hitless in the ballgame so far. Carpenter trying to change that with this at-bat. Behind, though, 0-1. Here's the pitch. Carpenter hits one in the air towards right. It's deep right field, but Hunt, it's playable for him. He'll make the grab. Tagging from third is Peyton Price. And a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Mark Carpenter pushes the Henley lead to 3-0. Carpenter extending his team lead in RBI. That was his 45th of the season. And this brings up Bo Pyle with a runner at third and 2 outs. It's Shively 90 feet away. Pyle 0 for 2 today. Couple of flyouts. The first pitch to him misses high, 1-0. After Pyle, if he reaches base, we'll see Max Price this inning. Nelson said with the 1-0 and the pitch. Pyle hits one high, shallow left. Coming in is Sullivan. Could be trouble, and a fantastic play by Sullivan in left. Oh, my. Came in on the run, picked it off his shoelaces for the catch, and that will end the inning. One run does score for Henley. 2 base hits. They leave one stranded. They lead 3-0 as we head to the top of the 5th at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Comfortable and not court. At Clown Falls Subaru, we built our business on that simple promise. Well, that and some of the best people you're ever going to meet. Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager at Clown Falls Subaru. Our 62 employees make it easy for us to live up to our comfortable, not corporate philosophy. Friendly faces, easy answers, straight talk, fairness, and exceptional service. These are the things you expect. These are the things that all of our people deliver. Our management team, sales pros, certified service and body shop techs, lot attendants, and detail experts are all 100% focused on you. Local people putting their friends and neighbors first. At Clown Falls Subaru, that's the only way we do business. It's comfortable, not corporate. Our team members also spend hundreds of hours each year supporting local charities and events through the Subaru Love Promise. That's the kind of people they are. We're very proud of them. They're your friends, they're your neighbors, they're glad to know you, and they want you to be glad to know them too. I'm Rob, and this is what makes us comfortable, not corporate.
Top of the 5th inning, and Henley leads North Bend 3-0 in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball quarterfinal. If you look on the bracket, winner of this game will play the winner of the Pendleton-Nick Yahweh Co-op against Marist. That's a 4-5 matchup, and they got started about a half hour ago, about 40 minutes ago, 5:30, so no score update there, at least not that I can find. Other quarterfinal matchups, Junction City Triangle Lake against Scappoose. The Dowls visiting North Marion. And the first pitch to Aiden Nelson is fouled off. 0-1. Mark Carpenter still in the game, working into his 5th inning for Henley. He's looked good. He's got the bottom of the Bulldogs order due up against him here. The 0-1. Called a strike, 0-2. The curveball found the inner third, 0-2. Last time through the order for Carpenter, when he got to 7, 8, 9, it was 3 straight strikeouts. And delivers the 0-2 to Nelson. That one misses wide, 1-2. 7 total strikeouts on the day for Carpenter. And again, ahead in the count, 1-2 against Nelson. Here's the pitch. That one misses in. Looked very similar to the pitch that was called strike 2. But maybe just a bit more inside. Count even now to Nelson. And high fastball swung on and missed. Nelson visibly frustrated, but sent packing. First out here in the 5th, and it brings up Hunter Osuna. Osuna 0 for 1 today. Mentioned he struck out in the 2nd inning. The pitch is swung on and missed. Another high fastball for Carpenter, where the Bulldogs just can't quite catch up to that pitch. 0-1. Osuna, the designated hitter for the right fielder for the Bulldogs, Hunt. Now behind in the count, 0-2. And a foul ball. Count remains 0-2. Was talking last inning about how you can support the folks that make today's broadcast possible. The Henley Booster Club making this free for you to watch today. And again, the 0-2 is swung on and missed. Down on strikes is Osuna for the 2nd time today. 2 away in the 5th. Unless you want to join the Henley Booster Club, it's the only way you can directly support them, but not the only way that you can support Henley athletes in the coming months. I think of June 1st, the Henley football team is hosting their, I believe, 3rd annual golf tournament. The first pitch is called a strike to Sullivan, 0-1. Henley football team, of course, coming off their best season in program history, but they'll have a new head coach. The 0-1 misses in, 1-1 to Sullivan. But nice day, June 1st. Hopefully a nice day. Get out, play some golf, support the Henley football team. The 1-1 on the way. It's a ground ball up the middle. Hayes dives for it, comes up with it. The throw to first is not going to be in time. A great play by Hayes to get there. But a 2-out infield single for Sullivan extends this inning, and back to the top of the Bulldogs order for Jalen Riddle. That was a fantastic play by Hayes. But the speed for Sullivan allows him to reach first. Second hit of the day for the Bulldogs, and it comes with 2 outs in the 5th. And the first pitch is a ball to Riddle. Another potential opportunity to support Henley athletes would come when the Lady Hornets basketball team is hosting their Junior Hornet basketball camp. That's later on in June, the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. But the Lady Hornets also coming off a state championship win. 1-1, swung on and missed, 1-2. Now, I don't think that this technically keeps Henley in the running for the Oregon Triple Crown when you talk about winning a championship in football, basketball, and potentially baseball. It's the 1-2. On the move is Sullivan. The pitch misses. The throw down is late. Sullivan swipes second, moves himself into scoring position. And a 2-2 count at the plate now to Jalen Riddle. The 2-2 from Carpenter. In the dirt, and the count runs full. On deck for the Bulldogs, Sam Michelson looking for a chance here in the 5th if Riddle is able to find his way aboard. Time is called, and I think something entered the playing field by the North Bend dugout. Unsure what it is, but clean that up, and we should be ready to go. 2 away in the top of the 5th inning. Henley leads North Bend 3-0, and the runner in scoring position for the Bulldogs, and a 3-2 count at the plate. The pitch is in the dirt, and a walk delivered to Riddle. Second time he's been given the free pass today, and this brings up Sam Michelson. He represents the tying run. Michelson 0 for 2 today, grounded out in the first, struck out in the third. In a big spot in the last third of the ball game. No movement in the Henley bullpen, by the way. They're sticking with Mark. Well, right as I say that, Coach Connor comes out of the dugout to have a conversation with Mark Carpenter. As he does, want to remind you today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the Klamath Basin at 1919 Austin Street or 2226 Shallock Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza is a proud supporter of high school sports. Mentioned Oregon Tech. Abby's also a sponsor of Oregon Tech and the Lady Owls softball team in Columbus, Georgia for the NAIA Softball World Series. They picked up a win yesterday in the first game of the World Series, 2-1 over Cumberland's. And now they play again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You'd be able to hear that game right here on this station. 104.3 and 960 Sports. Voice of the Owls, Mike Safford, joins you about 12:45 tomorrow for Game 2 of the World Series from Georgia. All right, back to this one. Michelson awaits the first pitch. Here it is. And it's a check swing called a strike. Carpenter went off speed on the first pitch to Michelson. Gets ahead 0-1. 2 runners on for the Bulldogs. Sullivan at second, Riddle at first, and Michelson representing the tying run at the plate. The Bulldogs trail by 3. The 0-1. Bounce down the first baseline. Carpenter coming up is going to have to make a play. Underhand toss onto first is in time. And that will end the inning. 1 base hit, 2 runners left for the Bulldogs, but they can't get any across. Henley leads 3-0 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Going to have a new pitcher in the game for North Bend. It is Luke Wheeling, the right-hander on the mound. A couple other defensive changes for North Bend we'll get you in a second as they trail Henley 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union for a baseball quarterfinals. So let's go ahead and just reset the full defense for you for North Bend. Again, a couple of changes. Drakkar Funk is catching. Forrester is now at third. Riddle at short. Swanson is checked into the game at second. Stevens still at first. In the outfield, Sullivan is in left. Michelson is in center. And Aiden Nelson, the pitcher, former pitcher, is now in right field for the Bulldogs. Max Price to lead things off for Henley here in the bottom of the 5th. 6, 7, 8 in the Henley order as they try to add some insurance in the late portions of this ball game. And we're ready for baseball. The first pitch from Luke Wheeling. Here it is. Off speed, found the zone. Good curveball. And an 0-1 count there from Wheeling to Max Price. And Aiden Nelson exits the game. We'll try to take a look at the line score for him. Is the 0-1, another curveball, same spot. Froze up Price. And an 0-2 count. Looks like it's the same MO for the Bulldogs. Throw the curveballs for strikes, throw the fastballs near, but don't let Henley square anything up. Here's the 0-2. And that's popped up right field. Moving over is Nelson. His first play in the field is a putout. And it's the first out in the 5th. Brings up Lane Frank. All right, taking a look at Aiden Nelson, whose day is done on the mound. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, each of them earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. Now it's up to Wheeling to try to keep the Bulldogs in this one. It's the first pitch to Lane Frank. Another curveball. That one misses, though. 1-0. Frank, a Skyline Conference honorable mention. Here's the 1-0. One misses high. 2-0. Frank this season batting .351. And it's interesting, he's had a better batting average than some of the other guys who also made that all-conference list, but not a guy that really lights it up all the time. He's just a steady, consistent guy as he takes strike 1, 2, and 1. Frank also a member of the Henley basketball team, which made the Elite Eight this year, and a member of that Henley football team I was talking about who put together the best season in program history. 2-1, misses high, 2-2. Henley football went 14-0 in a state championship game, a state championship win, rather, against Marist. It's a fantastic season for them. And I was talking about it a little while ago as we got a 3-1 count to Lane Frank. Here's the pitch from Wheeling. That one misses in, and the count runs full. Oh, pardon me. That one misses in, and it's a walk to Frank. And it's the second time he's reached base today. Did so on a single in the 3rd, now a walk here in the 5th. And it brings up Owen Harper, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout in the 2nd and 3rd innings. Set is Wheeling, and he'll step off. But a state championship this year for Henley in football and girls basketball. It's hard to say. I don't think that technically keeps them in the running for the Oregon Triple Crown. Right now leading this game. And Triple Crown, what I mean is winning a state championship in football, basketball, and baseball. Typically it's only for teams who have the boys basketball state championship. And that pitch is called a strike. 0-1. Last team to do that was Banks in 2019. As a matter of fact, the Braves beat Henley in the state championship for baseball that year to claim the Oregon Triple Crown. It was the first time a team had done that, I believe, since 1984 when North Valley did it. A team that used to be in the Skyline Conference and now dropped down to 3A. Harper lays down a bunt. The throw to first is in time. Moving up to second was Frank. 2 away and a runner in scoring position for Luke Austin. Austin is 1 for 2 today, a single and a ground out so far. And before North Valley did it in 1984, I believe it was Medford High School, back when it was just one school, won the Triple Crown in 1959 and 1960. Pitch misses high to Luke Austin, 1-0. Henley baseball has won 9 total state championships. 1981, 83, 91, 96, 04, 05, 13, 14, and 15. Pitch is popped up, foul territory behind first base. Could be playable for Stevens, and it is not made. A close play back there. Hard one to make, especially with the wind blowing as it is. And it's just a strike, foul ball to Luke Austin, 1-1. On deck for Henley is Peyton Price. Talked about Henley, a state champion in 1991. That was technically when they were a 3A school. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Henley was a 3A school until the OSAA expanded to 6 classifications. I want to say that was 12 years ago, if my memory serves me correctly. Here's the 2-1 count to Luke Austin. Now, right-hander awaits the pitch. Swung on and missed, 2-2. Now, North Bend made a state championship game in 1991, although they were a 4A school back when there was only 4 classifications. They lost that game to South Salem 7-4. But all those games played at Kaiser Volcano Stadium. So they were all there together. The 2-2 flared out towards right, but right to Stevens on a leap, makes the catch. He'll end the inning. A nice play to retire the side. 1 runner left for the Hornets, no base hits. We head to the 6th at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. Henley leads 3-0 on mybasin.com.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, breathe in. Now watch your speed and breathe out. Good. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Help keep drivers and backseat drivers safe with Les Schwab Tires.
Back with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports with the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. Also live on mybasin.com with free video. Appreciate everybody from around the state joining us with free coverage brought to you today by the Henley Booster Club. All of you listening on the coast, thank you for being with us today. It's 3-4-5 in the North Bend order. Luke Wheeling, the new pitcher. Peyton Forrester and Drakkar Funk. It's up to Wheeling to try to get the rally started, and he comes up empty on the first pitch, 0-1. And if you're wondering, for Mark Carpenter still on the mound out there, he has surpassed the 86 pitch mark that requires him to rest for 4 days. Now, a line drive into right field and a base knock for Wheeling. The 0-1 pitch, third hit of the day for North Bend. It's the Bulldogs trying to get a little something cooking here in the 6th. Wheeling, the one to start it off. This brings up Peyton Forrester. Forrester 1 for 2 today. He flew out in the first and singled in the 4th. I was talking about Carpenter's pitch count. As he fires in the first pitch low, gets away from Shively. Wheeling breaking for second. He's going to get in standing. A wild pitch puts a runner in scoring position for the cleanup hitter, Forrester. That was Carpenter's 92nd pitch, meaning he'd have to do the full rest before a potential semifinal on Tuesday if Henley holds on to win this one. The 1-0 is taken for a strike, 1-1. So Tuesday would be his last full day of rest required, meaning he would be unavailable in a potential semifinal matchup. Still, though, looking to finish this one strong. The 1-1 is hit foul, 1-2. Tying run in the on-deck circle for the Bulldogs of North Bend High School. Drakkar Funk would represent that run if Forrester is able to get on. Right now behind 1-2. The pitch from Carpenter in the dirt. He chases. Shively going to go on to first on the dropped third strike. Wheeling going to stay put at second. And one away in the 6th brings up Drakkar Funk. Tenth strikeout of the day for Mark Carpenter came on that swing and miss from look at Funk this game. He is 0 for 2 today, a ground out in the second and a strikeout in the fifth. If you're wondering, the season high for strikeouts for Carpenter in a single game this year is 13. He's hit that twice. Once against Hidden Valley and once against Phoenix. And right now he stands at 10. The 1-0 on the way to Funk. And it's a ground ball, fair down the left field line. They're going to try to score Wheeling. There will be no throw. And an RBI double for Dakar Funk makes this 3-1. Henley leads. First extra base hit of the day for either team comes in the top of the sixth inning, and it's an RBI double for Funk. Stevens looking to keep things rolling, and there is some action in the Henley bullpen. Can't quite see who it is back there. Was Corbin Hamilton in the past in these situations? He's a conference honorable mention. He came in relief on Tuesday. But unsure exactly who it is right now. Stevens represents the tying run. His team trails by 2. A runner in scoring position. It's Funk. 0 for 1 day so far for Stevens. He's walked and grounded into a double play so far. First pitch is going to miss, 1-0. The North Bend faithful stationed behind me here at Henley High School making themselves known, given something to cheer about for the first time today. The 1-0 count to Stevens as Carpenter comes set. Here's the pitch. That is a line drive into center field. That's going to get down. They're going to hold up Funk at third. And this puts runners at the corners for Aiden Nelson. Tying run on base for the Bulldogs. And just 1 out in the sixth. Connor Shively, the captain of the Henley infield. The catcher comes out, gives his team some signs. Double play in order, but a hard hit ball to the corners. Well, they could come home with it. And we're going to have time called. Coach Craig Connor emerges from the dugout. And Mark Carpenter in a bit of trouble here. We'll see if this is it for him. They might just be trying to buy their reliever time to warm up. With the conference on the mound, we'll remind you that today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. We have a moment here. We can take a quick look at the updated line score for both of these teams. For Henley, who's still in the lead, 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Hornets. They've left 8 runners on base. For North Bend, 1 run on 5 hits, no errors for the Bulldogs. They've left 6 runners on base. They've got 2 more out there. And Stevens, who's at first, represents the tying run. Mark Carpenter staying in the ball game against Aiden Nelson. 0 for 2 today, a couple of strikeouts. Bottom of this order hasn't been there for North Bend today, but if there's any time to come up big, it's this spot here. The pitch, a bunt laid down by Nelson, but it drifts foul. 0-1. Nelson 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Hunter Osuna on deck, and he is also 0 for with a couple of strikeouts. These are the guys Carpenter wants. We'll see if he can finish him off for a third straight time. Here's the 0-1 on its way from Mark. Taken for a strike around the knees. Ooh, that is a borderline call. But it goes the way of the Hornets. 0-2 the count to Nelson. Small lead off of first by Stevens. Funk an even shorter lead off of third. The 0-2 on the way from Carpenter. Swung on and missed, strike 3. A big strikeout there. Nelson give him the hat trick on the afternoon. 3 strikeouts. And now there's 2 away and runners at the corners. We'll see with Coach Horning having a conversation with our home plate umpire who might be hitting in the spot of Osuna, the designated hitter. I believe it's going to be, well, no, Josh Sullivan is due up next. Right now he's in the on-deck circle. Let's see. Okay, it's going to be Caden Hunt. The former right fielder was subbed out of the game on defense, now getting his first at-bat in this game with 2 outs and the tying run on first. First pitch to Hunt, misses high, 1-0. After Hunt, it is Josh Sullivan in the Bulldogs order. Here's the 1-0. That pitch in the dirt, kicks away from Shively. On the move to second is Stevens. They're going to allow him to advance, no throw made. And it's a 2-0 count to Caden Hunt, tying run in scoring position. And I believe we're going to get a pinch runner in for Stevens at second. And we are. They're going to get some speed out there and maybe try to make something happen. Matt Swank is out on second base. The sophomore for North Bend represents the tying run. Henley outfield playing deep. Don't want to let anything get behind him. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Evens the count. To Caden Hunt. Carpenter now working from the windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2. A high fastball around the eyes of Caden Hunt. Chased that one. The count 2-2. Carpenter trying to work out of a big jam here. The 2-2 on the way from the conference pitcher of the year. Looked at for ball 3. A big pitch to lay off as well by Caden Hunt. A lot of guys would have chased that pitch on his team. We've seen it a lot today. Now the count runs full. Equally as important a pitch. The 3-2 from Carpenter. Swung on and missed, and that will get the Hornets out of a jam. The Bulldogs leave the tying run on base. 3 hits in the inning. 1 run comes across for North Bend. They still trail 3-1. Going to the bottom of the 6th at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and Henley leads 3-1 at the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinal. Due up this half for the Hornets. Top of their order, Peyton Price, Connor Shively, and Aiden Hayes. They try to add some much-needed insurance here in the bottom of the 6th before trying to slam the door in the next half inning. North Bend, they flirted with tying this game in the last half inning. Got the tying run in scoring position, but back-to-back strikeouts from Mark Carpenter kept things right where they are. Here's the pitch from Wheeling, and it's taken for a strike to Peyton Price, 0-1. Price today is 1 for 2. He walked in the first, flew out in the second, singled and scored in the fourth. The 0-1 pitch on the way to him is taken for a strike, 0-2. Shively was 1 for 4 with 3 RBI in the round of 16 win for the Hornets, and he waits on deck. Pitch to Price, missed low, 1-2. Right-hander Wheeling in his second inning of relief. Here's the 1-2 from the Bulldogs right-hander. Taken, strike three called. Price upset about it. It was taken outside for strike three, but the strike zone has included the outside portion of the plate all afternoon. And this brings up Connor Shively. For Henley, that's only the third time a Hornet has struck out today. Shively bouncing ball over towards third, charging in is Forrester. The throw on to first is in time, but can't pick it out of the dirt is Stevens. And reaching first is Shively. It was a close play. We'll see if they credit the hit or the error. And it's actually going to go in the book as a North Bend error. First error of the game, and it's going to be credited to Forrester, E5 in the book. And a runner aboard at first and one away for Aiden Hayes. Hayes today 1 for 2, singled in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second, grounded out in the fourth. Shively's the guy you want to worry about out there. He is going to dive back safely on a pickoff attempt. Shively, the catcher, is third on the team in stolen bases this season. He's got 11. Hasn't been caught yet. The pitch to Hayes is going to miss low. And a 1-0 count. After Hayes, it's Mark Carpenter. If you're curious for North Bend in the next half inning, it is 9-1-2 to try to get their rally started before Henley can add any more insurance here this inning. The 1-0, grounded over towards short. Riddle is going to go to second for one, and dropped the ball, did Swanson. They're going to say he dropped it on the exchange, so the out is made at second. Shively is gone, and Hayes aboard at first after the fielder's choice. 2 away, and this brings up Carpenter. Carpenter 0 for 2 today, a couple of flyouts. Also a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Carpenter. That came in the fourth inning. First pitch to Mark, taken outside, 1-0. Carpenter's been on the mound for Henley all game long. We'll see if he remains out there in the seventh. They had somebody warming up in the bullpen over there. But, I mean, big clutch strikeouts for Carpenter on the mound to end last inning. Move over to first. Hayes this time back safely, and he is the team leader in stolen bases. 22 stolen bags this year. He's only been caught once. Here's the 1-0 to Carpenter. That is a curveball, finds the inner third. Carpenter can't believe it. Probably asking for that call himself. The strike zone has been wide on both ends of the plate today. Hasn't varied too much up or down, too much, but inside and outside, these pitchers have been awarded those calls. So Carpenter on the receiving end of a few of those. I don't think he'd like to admit it, but 1-1 in the count. 2 away and a runner at first. On the move is Hayes, and Carpenter fouls it off. Count moves now to 1-2. After Carpenter in the Henley order, if he manages to get on base, it's Bo Pyle. Wheeling. Ready to go with the 1-2. The pitch. Carpenter again fights off another one, stays alive. Looked like it might have been an off-speed pitch off the plate outside. Carpenter reached for it, just got a piece, and remains in this at-bat. 427 hitter on the season is Carpenter. There's one knock on him. It's that he strikes out quite a bit. Second on the team in that metric. On the move is Hayes. Carpenter blasts one left center field. That's going to get down in the gap. Hayes is going to round third. He's going to score, and an RBI double for Mark Carpenter gives Henley a bit of insurance in the sixth. They're up 4-1. Hayes was stealing on that pitch, got a head start from first, and came around to score. Carpenter's second RBI of the day leaves him at second. And again, Henley now leads by 3. And it looks like we're going to have, no, scratch that. It'll be Bo Pyle to bat, who's 0 for 3 today with 3 flyouts. Carpenter, another RBI today, gives him 46 on the season. That was the 10th double of the year for Carpenter. And the pitch to Pyle. That's bounced over towards third. Fielding it on a hop is Forrester. He makes the throw to first in time, and that will end the inning. One run comes across for the Hornets on one base hit. It was an RBI double for Mark Carpenter to put Henley up 4-1, heading to the 7th. As Henley tries to close things out, it looks like we're going to see Corbin Hamilton on the hill for the Hornets. We'll talk about him on the other side. This is the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A Baseball Quarterfinals. You've got it on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Top of the 7th inning, and Henley looking to close out this quarterfinal game against North Bend. Standing in their way is Josh Sullivan, Jalen Riddle, and Sam Michelson. 9-1-2 in the order for the Bulldogs, and a new arm on the mound for Henley. It's Corbin Hamilton. Looking at the season for Corbin, the freshman honorable mention in the Skyline Conference. In 38 innings pitched, he's 5-0, has 2 saves this year. This is his, I believe, 15th appearance on the season. And an ERA of .92. His last appearance was 1 out, recorded in the round of 16 against Baker. An 0-1 count to Sullivan, moves to a 1-1 count after a pitch misses low in the dirt. The last serious sample size we have for Corbin was a 4-inning appearance on May 16th against Junction City, where he gave up 3 hits and allowed 1 run. This is a weak roller down the third base line, and the Hornets are going to have to spit on this one. And a leadoff base runner for the Bulldogs as Sullivan reaches first on the hit. This Bulldogs team battles. They won 8 straight to make the play-in game. They won their play-in game 6-0 against Staten and promptly whooped Crook County in the opening round of the playoffs. Now trying to rally for their season. A pitch in the dirt is called a ball against Riddle, who is 0 for 1 today with 1 strikeout. He's walked twice, though. Now on a 1-0 count. Corbin Hamilton set and the 1-0. That one misses as well, 2-0. Bouncing ball to third. Carpenter. He's going to go to Price for 1. On to first for 2. 5, 4, 3, double play. And 2 away in the 7th. Sam Michelson, now the last remaining hope for the Bulldogs this season. Hornets 1 out away from making it back to the state semifinal and continuing their season. Here's the pitch. Taken wide for a ball. 1-0. Misses as well. 2-0. Michelson 0 for 3 today. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. On deck, hoping for an opportunity, is Luke Wheeling. The 2-0. That one comes in and misses inside against Michelson. 3-0. Here's the pitch. That one misses in, and a 4-pitch walk gives the Bulldogs a breath of hope with 2 away in the 7th. Wheeling, his job is to just get on base. Home run doesn't do you any good here. Get on base for your cleanup hitter next in Peyton Forrester. Shively looking to remind Hamilton that come right at this guy. If it gets on base, you focus on the next. But you don't have to worry about Wheeling really doing too much damage to you here. The first pitch from Hamilton is in there for strike one. Wheeling singled and scored in the 6th, represents the only run that North Bend has scored this game. The 0-1 fouled off, 0-2. And the Bulldogs down to their final strike of the season. Their first quarterfinal appearance since 2018. A lot of positive momentum here for the Bulldogs this season, hoping to continue it, but the Hornets looking to slam the door. The 0-2 misses high, 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, and that is the ball game. Henley advancing to the state semifinal after a 4-1 win over the North Bend Bulldogs. We'll be back to recap it all for you as we continue your coverage of the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A baseball quarterfinals. You've got it all today on 104.3 and 960 Sports with live free video on mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Corporate. Quarterfinals Subaru, we built our business on that simple promise. Well, that and some of the best people you're ever going to meet. Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager at Quarterfinals Subaru. Our 62 employees make it easy for us to live up to our comfortable, not corporate philosophy. Friendly faces, easy answers, straight talk, fairness, and exceptional service. These are the things you expect. These are the things that all of our people deliver. Our management team, sales pros, certified service and body shop techs, lot attendants, and detail experts are all 100% focused on you. Local people putting their friends and neighbors first. At Quarterfinals Subaru, that's the only way we do business. It's comfortable, not corporate. Our team members also spend hundreds of hours each year supporting local charities and events through the Subaru Love Promise. That's the kind of people they are. We're very proud of them. They're your friends, they're your neighbors, they're glad to know you, and they want you to be glad to know them too. I'm Rob, and this is what makes us comfortable, not corporate.
What, Rob, was great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
some more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
The Henley Hornets are moving on. Our final line score in the OSAA On Point Community Credit Union 4A quarterfinal. Henley defeats North Bend 4-1. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Hornets. They left 11 runners on base today. For North Bend, 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error. They left 8 runners on base today. Our winning pitcher this afternoon is Mark Carpenter. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He struck out 12 and walked 3 today. Corbin Hamilton picked up the save, pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 hit. He walked 1 and struck out 1. Our losing pitcher today is Aiden Nelson. He worked 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, each of them earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. A couple of offensive notables today for Henley. How about a 3-for-4 day for Connor Shively with an RBI? He's the only Hornet who recorded multiple hits. But Mark Carpenter with multiple RBIs, a 1-for-3 day. His 2 RBIs came on a double, and that was in the 6th inning. Henley is moving on to the state semifinal after their victory today. This is their first trip back to the semifinal since 2019, when they actually went to the state title game and lost to Banks that year. As they will play either Pendleton and Nick Yahweh, that co-op, or Marist. That game is probably nearing its end or late in that ball game. They started at 5:30 today. Unfortunately, don't have a score update for you there. We do know that North Marion has advanced to the semifinal as well. The number 2 team in the state blanked the Dalles 4-0 earlier today. So the number 1 and number 2 teams find themselves in the semifinal. Meantime, for North Bend, their season is over. But it was a good one for the Bulldogs. They finished 16-9 overall on the season, the 9th best team in the state according to the seedings and the rankings. They won 8 straight games before getting here and losing to Henley, and quite the battle they put up as well. At one point, getting the tying run in scoring position, but the lockdown Henley pitching, just too much for the Bulldogs to handle in this game. They fall to the Hornets 4-1. Want to thank everybody who makes today's broadcast possible. Of course, the athletic director here at Henley High School, Mr. Luke Hammond, both head coaches, Brad Horning and Sean Teeters, Joe Tacchini, the head coaches for Henley. Also want to thank all of you who joined and listened to us from the coast this afternoon, and athletic director for North Bend High School, Mike Forster, spreading the word, allowing us to broadcast to you statewide. Again, big thanks to the Henley Booster Club as well for getting us on air today. The Henley Boosters covering the fee and allowing us to broadcast today's game for free today to everybody who watched. So again, big thanks to the Henley Booster Club. Once again, the final score today, the Henley Hornets moving on to the semifinal. They defeat North Bend 4-1. My name is Josh Eldridge, saying good night from Rosser Field at Henley High School.